It was supposed to be a normal evening. I just finished my shift at the local sheriff's office, and as usual, I was exhausted but looking forward to spending time with my wife. We had been married for 9.5 years, long enough that I thought we knew each other inside out. Or so I believed. That night something felt off. It wasn't anything dramatic, just little things. She seemed distant, distracted, and more interested in her phone than our conversation. First I brushed it off. Maybe she was tired too. Or maybe she was preoccupied with work stuff. But deep down there was this nagging feeling that wouldn't go away. We were both home more often than usual because I had recently attended the police academy. Classes ran from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. during the week, which meant I wasn't working nights like before. Even though I was technically off duty, I still struggled to adjust my sleep schedule. One evening, after trying and failing to fall asleep next to her, I decided to use the restroom. As I passed through the living room, I noticed her phone sitting on the coffee table. Normally, she kept it close by, always within reach. This carelessness struck me as odd, but curiosity got the better of me. Against my better judgment, I picked it up and unlocked it. At midnight, I saw a text message from someone named Pastor John. My heart sank. Thinking it might have been an emergency, I opened it. The words stared back at me. "Good night, my love." For a moment I froze, unsure if I'd read it correctly. Surely this had to be some kind of mistake, a typo perhaps? Yet, when I tried to dig deeper, I realized she had deleted all previous messages between them. If their relationship was innocent, why would she erase everything? Doubt crept into my mind, gnawing at me until I couldn't ignore it any longer. The next morning, I confronted her about what I'd found. She woke up groggily, clearly unprepared for the question I threw at her. "What the hell is going on with you and Pastor John?" I demanded. Her response came quickly, almost too quickly. "It's probably just a typo," she said dismissively. "Why are you snooping through my phone anyway?" Before I could respond, she turned the tables on me, accusing me of being paranoid and overreactive. To make matters worse, she kicked me out of our bedroom for a month and a half, claiming I needed space to reflect on my behavior. During those weeks apart, I spiraled into darkness. Stress consumed me and I lost weight rapidly, around 35 pounds in a single month. Sleep eluded me and food tasted like ash in my mouth. Everything reminded me of her, of us, of the life we once shared. Desperate for answers, I sought counseling, following the pastor's recommendation. However, instead of addressing the issue openly, she refused to engage meaningfully, quoting Bible verses rather than confronting the truth. Her holier-than-thou attitude only fueled my suspicion further. Finally, one day I stumbled upon her diary. Unlike her phone, which she guarded fiercely, the diary lay unprotected on her nightstand. Hesitant yet driven by desperation, I opened it. What I read shattered whatever remained of my trust. Page after page detailed her affair with Pastor John. Their secret meetings, stolen moments, and even his wife's knowledge of their relationship. Reading those words felt like being punched in the gut repeatedly. How could someone I loved betray me so deeply? Armed with newfound evidence, I approached her calmly. "You were right to hide your diary from me," I admitted. "I just read it." Her reaction was instantaneous. Shock gave way to panic, then apology. "I never meant for it to go this far," she stammered. "I didn't want to hurt you." Those words fell flat against the weight of her actions. I insisted she call Pastor John immediately, demanding he meet me the following morning. We met at a fast food restaurant. With my phone recording the conversation discreetly, I listened as he confessed to the inappropriate relationship. Hypocrisy oozed from every word he spoke. Here was a man who regularly preached against infidelity, warning others about its dangers while indulging in the very sin he condemned. His admission provided closure, but it also left me seething with anger. Trust broken cannot easily be mended. Despite everything, I attempted reconciliation. I wanted to believe we could salvage our marriage, but deep down I knew it was futile. Months later, unable to endure the tension, I moved out. Not because I wanted to abandon her, but to protect my career. In law enforcement, accusations of domestic violence could cost me everything. Thankfully, people at church eventually learned the truth. Pastor John resigned from the congregation he had led for 25 years, trading his pulpit for a job flipping burgers in his mid-50s. Justice, though bittersweet, brought a semblance of peace. Now let me tell you another story, one that unfolded differently but carried echoes of betrayal just as profound. I met Jess during university. She sat across from me in a business management class, bright-eyed and eager. When we were assigned a group project together, we clicked instantly. By the end of the semester, I asked her out and she said yes. Our relationship blossomed effortlessly. For 4.5 years, we were inseparable. We communicated openly, rarely fought, and shared countless dreams for the future. I envisioned marrying her someday, building a life filled with laughter and love. So much so that I began saving money to buy her an engagement ring. But slowly cracks appeared. Around the last 6 months of our relationship, Jess grew distant. Excuses piled up whenever I suggested spending time together. At first, I attributed it to stress from our new full-time jobs post-graduation. Then came the intimacy issues. A woman who once matched my high libido now turned down advances without explanation. When I pressed her, she claimed discomfort with her body, asking for patience. Still, something didn't feel right. One fateful night, we stayed overnight at her apartment. After attempting to initiate intimacy yet again, I voiced my frustrations. Instead of responding constructively, she shut down completely. Later, unable to shake the unease gnawing at me, I snooped through her phone. What I discovered ripped apart my world. Messages, photos, and videos revealed she'd been secretly hooking up with her ex-boyfriend, the same guy she swore she'd moved on from long ago. Watching those videos, seeing her act and speak in ways I'd never witnessed, reduced me to nothing more than bitterness and disgust. That night, I packed my belongings quietly, careful not to wake her, and slipped out of her apartment. Back at my place, emotions overwhelmed me. Betrayal cut deeper than I ever imagined possible. Hours later, I messaged Julia, a childhood friend I hadn't spoken to much since reconnecting briefly during a visit home. She offered comfort, listening patiently as I poured out my pain. Over drinks, movies, and games, we rekindled our bond. Eventually, one thing led to another, culminating in a night neither of us regretted. Julia encouraged me to seek revenge, not out of malice but justice. Using recordings from our encounter, I crafted an audio file devoid of visuals, ensuring anonymity. When I finally confronted Jess, I sent her screenshots of her infidelity alongside the audio clip. My parting words echoed loudly. Treat me like a game, and I'll show you how it's played. In the days that followed, chaos erupted. Mutual friends bombarded me with questions, but presenting undeniable proof silenced most critics. Eventually, Jess's parents reached out, apologizing profusely for their daughter's actions. Meanwhile, I focused on rebuilding myself. I immersed myself in fitness, cultivated meaningful friendships, and nurtured a budding romance with Julia. Today, nearly a year later, I'm happier than ever. Recently promoted at work, engaged to Julia, and proud of the man I've become, I can confidently say I dodged a bullet. For Jess, however, life unraveled. Pregnant with her ex's child, abandoned without support, she chose abortion. Since then, alcoholism and crippling insecurity have plagued her relationships. While I harbor no ill will toward her, I remain grateful for the lessons learned. Trust must be earned, respect mutual, and happiness pursued relentlessly. To anyone navigating similar pain, remember this: never settle for less than you deserve. Surround yourself with positivity, embrace growth, and above all, prioritize self-worth. Life may throw curveballs, but resilience triumphs over adversity.